Hello, I'm Mike Gordon. Welcome back to my perfect playthrough of Pokemon Red and Blue for the Game Boy. Last time I got Dratini and Porygon in a trade, and in Red version I even traded Dratini over at Yellow to feed it the 6 remaining rare candies so I could synchronize the 2 save files. So now Dratini is level 24 in both games. And I'm going to deposit War Turtle in my PC in favor of Mew because I need Mew. I will also be needing to make some changes in my item box, the PC. Mainly I need to pick up the SS ticket here. And Blue right now has gotten a bit of a head start because Blue actually learned from its mistakes here, and I'm just going to cut through Saffron City to feed this guy the spare fresh water that I had. So I'm not going to get TM29, which is Psychic, just yet, so I'm just going to hold that off for now. And I'm going to ignore the first bug catcher in this route for now. I want to save him for later. That's all I'll say about that. Much later. So. I'm gonna keep Ivysaur in the front of my party to deal with the Squirtle. Ivysaur, this is literally the only battle that any of the starters will get in this episode, so. Now I'm going to move Dratini to the front of my party and battle the remaining trainers on this route. Honestly, had I had access to the Thunderbolt TM, I would have taught that to Dratini, and that would have been how I would have taken out the Squirtle. I only did it for brevity. I only battled Squirtle with Ivysaur for brevity's sake. So, all Dratini can really do is Ice Beam the Rattata and Pikachu, and I had to not only manipulate speed ties, but critical hit speed ties, so, in both games, just so Dratini can outspeed and one-shot. Even this battle, Dratini's special stat isn't that great, and there's no stab going for him. I had to manipulate the speed tie and the critical hit with Ice Beam. And Dratini is still level 24, so that kind of sucks. Now I will primarily be treating. And because I have Dratini now at level 24 in both games, I'm gonna be using. I will now be battling Lieutenant Surge. I skipped this gym and all the trainers on SSN. So Dratini, and I also decided as well the traded version exclusives, Mankey and Blue and Meowth and Red, got all the experience points from the SSN and the Vermillion gym. So, first order of business is I'm gonna try to pick up the TM for Body Slam. I got critical hit Ice Beam on Nier and Male. And that is great. I'm basically gonna try to manipulate 1 or 2 shots whenever possible. Now, Blue is well ahead for now, but wait a while, and Red will catch up. Otherwise, the 2 games are statistically neck and neck. for Dig to Vermillion because I can't teach Meowth Dig, and I will be using Vermillion for a longer period of time than I will either Mankey or Meowth. I will be trying to fully max those two Pokemon out by the end, within the next episode or two. But see how Red's already on Blue's tail? Well, okay, that's because I did a couple things in Blue version, then did them with Red. But this is where Red will catch up. The big difference between Mankey and Meowth are A, their typing, B, their move pools. Mankey here is a fighting type, a pure mono fighting type Pokemon. What this means is even though he has access to a move called Karate Chop, which has a naturally built-in high critical hit ratio, it deals less damage than a critical hit bite from Meowth, which in Gen 1 is a normal type move. Meowth is a normal type Pokemon. And oh yeah, even if I don't get stab critical hit bite can still flinch. So the only way... So, Mankey does have access to Rock Slide, which with critical hit ratio can actually deal just as much damage, if not more so, than stab critical hit bite. But there is a problem. Bite, and even Meowth's other move, Bubble Beam, which both versions have taught Meowth, Bubble Beam, Bite, and Bubble Beam. Both of those attack animations are way faster than Mankey's Rock Slide. Now, because Meowth does not have a super good special stat, Bubble Beam is a 2-shot Growlithe, even with the critical hit Minims at this point. But, however, Mankey's Rock Slide works off of Mankey's good physical attack, so a critical hit Rock Slide deals more damage from Mankey than critical hit Bubble Beam from Meowth. But, as we start using Rock Slide versus Bite, it becomes abundantly clear that Rock Slide has a freakishly slow and a freakishly long animation compared to Bite, Karate Chop, or Bubble Beam, and I have to use Rock Slide quite a bit in order to one-shot a lot of these mons, which causes much slower animation, particularly when Mankey and Meowth are both one-shotting. Right now, I can't one-shot Staryu even with critical hit Rock Slide, so I went the Karate Chop route. But look, Red has already caught up with Blue and is actually a bit further ahead. Even with back-to-back critical hit Karate Chops, Blue is now trailing Red. But don't worry, I will make a mistake. Sooner or later, Red will allow Blue to pull ahead. I'm also anticipating certain movements. So while playing Blue, I'm definitely taking into account, okay, Rock Slide is super slow. By the way, Meowth can't handle the chop, so both versions, Dratini is going to be battling the Pokemon that Meowth can't handle. And the reason for this, and because I want to keep the XP pools synchronized in both versions, if Meowth or Mankey can't handle a Pokemon and Dratini can, then both versions will be used. Meowth and Mankey will only be battling the Pokemon that I know that both Pokemon can handle. The trainers that both Pokemon can handle. If they can't both handle it, I'm giving it to Dratini. Or if Dratini can't handle it, I'll give it to one of the starters instead. So I'm getting the shit kicked out of me in Blue version. So Blue is just constantly falling behind. But they are following the same XP pool, so they require just the exact same amount of XP needed to level up. And we'll hit level 28 at the exact same trainer. They'll all be battling the same trainers, gain all the same experience, and so on. Unfortunately, Mankey's level still not high enough for Karate Chop to reliably one-shot a lot of these mons, even with high damage roll critical hits. So Rock Slide has to be the one that does it, which will cause Blue to continue to fall behind Red, unless Red gets a bunch of two-shots in. And this is the only move change I will be performing in this episode for either Mankey or Meowth, and that's replacing Scratch with Screech in Red. Generally speaking, Meowth has no need for Scratch, and because I have to battle this trainer here who has a high level these two trainers both have Shelders, I know that Screech is going to be absolutely helpful in trying to defeat this guy faster. I will also try to avoid using Payday in either version, so both games have the same amount of gil. It's kind of funny just how drastically different Red and Blue is in a lot of ways. Typically speaking, the two versions are pretty much the exact same games, except with their own sets of version-exclusive Pokemon. And yet, Red and Blue are probably the most different of all the paired-up versions in Pokemon history. So, see, with high roll critical hits, Bite can two-shot, but Mankey still needs to rely on... Well, I tried with Karate Chop. Oh, no. Mankey is now strong enough to two-shot Shelder with Karate Chop, so I'm able to curb Mankey's falling behind here. And Karate Chop can reliably one-shot Tentacool, I already knew that. Tentacool has very low defenses, has a very low defense stat, so just going in here to pick up the Max Potion. Since I need to pick up every item ball in the game, both visible and invisible, as well as battle every trainer, that's what I'm doing. And I'm just going in there just to prove that I already got the Great Ball in both versions of the game. I believe there are only 2 Great Balls you can pick up, and they're both hidden. And the rest you have to buy in shops. I already used one of my Great Balls in each game to catch a Wild Abra. So Blue has just trailed Red by a bit. But Blue actually did a decent job catching up, just in large part due to my little screw up in Red. Usually I play Pokemon Red version, so when playing through Blue version, I'm basically learning from my mistakes from Red version, so I could cut down on the speed. That's why Blue version regularly finishes ahead of Red. So Dratini's taking out these trainers because Meowth cannot handle Machop very well. And it turns out that neither Meowth nor Mankey need the experience against these sailors anyways. Dratini does, because Dratini's level is in the slow XP group and is the most XP hungry Pokemon in the entire game. Gonna walk up to this guy. I'm just gonna try to walk up to each trainer to save a bit of time whenever possible. So I kept it on Dratini here because even though this is a battle that Meowth and Mankey can both handle, and the reason for this is because Meowth's running low on bodies and cannot battle through all three of these trainers as well as the remaining couple trainers. So yeah, Meowth is literally dictating Mankey's trajectory and what kind of Pokemon and how I do conduct these battle matchups. So Blue had pulled ahead because I made very precise movements. I took the quick attack here so I could one-shot with Karate Chop. Next Ether in both games, and yet Red still finishes ahead. These are the last batch of trainers and the last item ball to pick up. So how is Blue gonna catch up to Red now? Because Blue needs to use Rock Slide. Or does he? In the first round, no he doesn't. Just a Karate Chop will suffice against Growlithe. But this Pokemon, Ponyta, needs critical hit Rock Slide. Meowth, however, cannot one-shot either of these Pokemon, even with critical hit Bubble Beams. But both Pokemon will be at level 26 by the end of this, so... And they are both... And Meowth and Red so Red's Meowth and Blue's Mankey are both set to evolve in Lieutenant Surge's gym. Karate Chop. And another Karate Chop should do the trick. Alright, that's all the battles we can conduct in the SS, and it's time to get out of here. Now, even though Blue is slightly ahead here, Red and Blue are actually neck and neck because I continue making strange mistakes in Red version. Wait, hold on, no, I didn't forget anything. There's no Pokemon following me this time. Yeah, I kinda like... Every time I play Yellow version, I always pretend that the ship is sailing away without my Pikachu. Because it's so funny. Now, Blue will teleport back to the Pokemon Center to heal. And Red is gonna bike up here because I didn't think to actually use teleport here. Whoops. Okay. Cat. Hold on, little tub of lard. Alright. Vermillion City, Pokemon Gym Leader, Lieutenant Surge, the Lightning American. So, right? Yo, Champion Making. Lieutenant Surge has a nickname. People will refer to him as the Lightning American. He's an expert on electric Pokemon. Birds and water Pokemon are at risk. Beware paralysis too. Lieutenant Surge is very cautious. You'll need to break a code in order to reach him. Yeah, this is the first ever gym puzzle in Pokemon history. Now, I didn't talk about these battles because it's basically pretty straightforward. Mankey can one-shot pretty much every Pokemon it needs to battle against with critical hit Karate Chop. Whereas Meowth needs to manipulate Bite in order to ensure the critical hit one-shot. Luckily, Meowth's base speed is high enough, which means Meowth has a decently high critical hit rate naturally. Unfortunately, and for some reason, Voltorb is bulkier than Pikachu, even though Voltorb's at a lower level. So, critical hit Rock Slide's the only thing that can one-shot these mons for Mankey. Whereas Bite, critical hit Bite can still do the trick for Meowth. Again, because Meowth has Stab, Mankey doesn't. However, Meowth still takes 2 shots to kill the Magnemite. And there it is. I am now officially done training Mankey and Meowth here to level 28. This is the level where Mankey evolves into Primeape and Meowth evolves into Persian. And this is why I chose to grind these Pokemon up in their respective versions, rather than the original exclusives. There are like 6 Pokemon that I need to grind up right now, and I need space in my party for my HM slave, Mew. So Dratini needs to manipulate a critical hit body slam. Growl does absolutely nothing, so that's what I did. Now, Red does not manipulate the critical hit, just the Parahax, but Blue will take a bit of a while to find the trash cans. So this will be the opportunity for Red to catch up. And with a bit of RNG manipulation, I found that the second one is up there. Same goes with blue version, though that was my first try. Hey, kid, what do you think you're doing here? You won't live long in combat, that's for sure. I tell you, kid, electric Pokemon saved me during the war. They zap my enemies into paralysis, the same as I'll do to you. So yeah, Dratini will be taking in the rest of the experience here, and will be soloing Lieutenant Surge. In Blue, in order to catch up with Red, it's just gonna critical hit each of Surge's Pokemon, and I'll even try to manip a very important Parahax in. So Red takes the damage by Manip X speed here. And then I Manip the Parahax from Body Slam. So now Dratini and Blue has to do his critical hit Body Slam. Fortunately, whoa! You're the real deal, kid. Finally, take the Thunder Badge. The Thunder Badge cranks up your Pokemon's defense. It also lets your Pokemon fly anytime, kid. You're special, kid, take this. TM24's Thunderbolt, which we will be teaching to Dratini. Little word of advice, kid. Electricity sure is powerful, but it's useless against ground-type Pokemon. Wow, that match was electric. So now that we're done, it's time to first teach TM24 to Dratini. And I'm actually gonna replace Lear. So now Dratini can basically has access to a move that I can use against any Pokemon in the game. As nothing in Gen 1 resists both Ice and Lightning. So Red's gonna fish a bit earlier than Blue, but through all intents and purposes, I want to show off the new Pokedex entries. So ultimately, both episodes will finish at the same time. So, I'm going to deposit some of the items I don't need anymore, or at least not right now. Like the Ethers and Max Ethers. I will hold on to TM44 for rest because I plan on selling that. And then I'm going to go deposit our newly evolved Primeape in blue and Persian in red. And bringing back Wartortle. And finally, we're going to change our boxes to box 4 to save our game. And if you like this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. Always fierce and tenacious to boot. It will not ban chasing. You could read that for blue version. Like, comment, subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. This is Mike Gordon signing out. Although its fur has many members, it is tough to raise as a pet because of its fickle meanness.